Hey, good evening, everyone. Today is March 12th. We're here at Silver Creek Elementary School for our regular scheduled board meeting. At this time, I call the meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. You would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your many blessings. And we ask that you will help us continue to stay positive and recognize all the great things that are happening at Silver Creek. There's a lot going on and it can be overwhelming at times, but help us to stay focused on our purpose. We also just ask you to continue to give us wisdom and enthusiasm to keep us moving forward in the right direction. Help us stay connected to our purpose of serving our students, our staff, and our community to our very best ability. And please keep everyone safe over spring break. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call. Mr. Basham.
Here.
Miss Bright and Miss Franklin are both absent tonight. Mr. Groen.
Present.
And I am also present. We have quorum. Dr. Briggs, any emergency additions or revisions to the agenda?
Yes, good evening. I have three revisions to the agenda, starting with under number 8, consent agenda. Under letter C, other, recommend to add Roman numeral number 4. It currently reads RFP proposal. I would like to amend that to read Raymond's Lawn Care RFP proposal. And then also under letter C, other, recommendation to add Roman numeral 10, Raymond's Lawn Care Raymond's Lawn Care contract. And then the last addition is actually a deletion under number 9, discussion items. Would ask to delete legislative update as we do not have one this evening. And that's it for recommendations for revisions.
All right, we've heard Dr. Briggs' emergency additions and revisions to the agenda. We have a motion to approve.
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion.
I second.
Mr. Basham seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next up, under number 3, we have the approval of minutes from the February 20th executive and work sessions and February 20th regular school board meeting. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. I think we might hear that quite a bit tonight. Mr. Basham, would you like to second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next up, we have our cheer team here. We're going to do them first, although I know cheerleaders and parents are used to sitting around waiting for a long while. But to not have you guys sit here and listen to a bunch of boring stuff, we'll go ahead and turn it over to our coaches for our middle school cheer team.
Thank you. I'm Jessica, so I'm one of the coaches. This is Corey and Haley. Just to thank you. I don't need all that.
You do for video.
You do for Alex.
This is our middle school cheer team. Not everyone was able to make it today, but this is a big portion. We have quite a few different activities that they have to participate in. So we do have first and foremost our competition team that I think is their favorite. And there are 2 different routines that they have to learn. If you are not cheer savvy, there's one routine that is for timeout division. That consists of, spirit, signs, getting crowd involved, and all of the exciting parts that most people are familiar with when it comes to cheerleading. And then there's the other routine that is called full routine. And that one is more skill-based, so stunting, tumbling. These kids, they will practice 2 to 3 times a week for this routine. And on top of all of that, they have football games, boys and girls, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade basketball games. So they spend a lot of time putting effort into this sport. And then on top of all that, they are able to keep up with their grades and really be a full-time student as well and put time and effort when it comes to that as well. So with full routine, we are 6 years in a row of state champions. And with the timeout routine, they're at 3 years in a row. So the really cool part about a big majority of our eighth graders this year, they got to be a part of the last 3 years winning both timeout and full routine at the state level, and that is a huge accomplishment. So I know that that's a big deal in their eyes and to us as well. So we definitely appreciate you guys letting us come in and honor them, because they definitely deserve all the credit that they need to get, for sure. Did you guys have?
Why don't you have the kids introduce themselves?
Okay, that's great. Do you want me to start with you, or are you going to hate me? Go down in a straight line and just say your first and last name and your grade. Okay.
My name's Addie Carter, and I'm in 8th grade. My name's Avery Wheatley, and I'm in 6th grade. My name's Lily Ross, and I'm in 6th grade. My name's Adeline Shoemaker, and I'm in 6th grade. My name's Surya Khan, and I'm in 8th grade. My name's Bailey Blinkenberger, and I'm in 6th grade. My name's Maddie Kaufman, and I'm in 6th grade. My name is Elise Davis, and I'm in 6th grade. My name's Daisy Young, and I'm in 6th grade. My name is Avery Miller, and I'm in 6th grade. My name is Paisley Morris, and I'm in 6th grade. My name is Luna Stiller, and I'm in 6th grade. My name's Izzy Morrow, and I'm in 7th grade. My name's Demi DeWeese, and I'm in 8th grade. My name's Emily Dry, and I'm in 8th grade.
All right. Yeah. So before you all leave, it's been a blast watching you all. As a cheer dad, I know all of us get super emotional watching you all perform, because we know how hard you work. And for all the eighth graders to get 6 state titles is phenomenal. For the coaches to get coaching staffs of the year, coaches of the year, all the time that our parents, we travel with you to go to every competition. It's absolutely amazing. And you guys definitely deserve all the credit you guys have won and achieved.
Yeah, I know you guys won't be around at the end to hear our comments, but just to congratulate you all for the eighth graders, successful back-to-backs. And I'm sure your high school coaches are thrilled at the fact that the talent that's coming up through this field. I mean, cheer is our most decorated sport at Silver Creek, right? That's what I keep hearing. So, congratulations, ladies.
How about just,
Good job. Congratulations.
I would like to thank you all for representing our community as a whole. You all do a great job. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks for coming out.
Next up, let's see, we have Gibraltar Design Services here with us. Who's here?
Jim,
Oh, there's Jim
All right.
checking out the book fair.
and Chris is, yep. Yeah.
You were looking at the book fair.
No cheers for us, other than cheering.
We're good when you guys are.
We were hiding because we thought they were going to perform and we were going to have to go on stage right after them. So I'm sure they do great work. Sorry we didn't get a chance to see that. Pleasure to be with you this evening again. Want to update you on the progress of our facility study. Here's what we're going to be covering this evening. Discuss the planning schedule and progress up to this point, site and building facility assessments that are already underway, and then summary of the existing conditions and preliminary observations that we've already had through your buildings, through our assessments. One caveat that I would like to share is we have not had the opportunity, but we do have planned to review this with your facility directors to make sure that we collaborate on our conversations on each of the buildings and our findings. We're also going to start talking about the learning environment input of this process, and then we will close with next steps. So it always feels good to check things off so you can see this planning schedule. Tonight, we're just going to go over that initial preliminary information, and you can kind of see it's setting the stage for what's next after we have the opportunity to review with your facilities team. And then moving forward, we're going to start bringing the learning environment input to this group as well after we have a chance to meet with principals and hear from staff. So as we start a study, we'll start at the ground base of looking at your district, looking at the assessment of your inventory of all of your buildings that you are managing across the district. And then we start breaking it down into collecting data, which has been helpful for us to just look when the buildings were originally built, when they were added on, and start collecting this data for square feet is going to help inform decisions that we make later on. And we collect this data, and it's going to be available as we go through the process to continue to have conversations as needed. Now, as we go through each building, as you can see, the Silver Creek Primary School, built in 2009. We just like to have an aerial because we don't just like to look at the building. We want to look at how the building behaves on the property, understand the car rider lines, the bus rider lines, all of those different things to find out some of those pressure points that may be lurking and also square footages and collecting that data. We dig a little bit deeper into each building just from a square foot analysis, starting to learn how the building is used because we know that, from a principal's perspective, you use the building how you from year to year for different needs that may surface. So want to make sure that we capture how that space is used and also help guide our principal conversations when we have those in the next few months. Moving on to the elementary school, obviously you can see built in 1952 with some major additions and renovations along the years, but also still collecting the parking spot counts along with how the car rider, bus rider, same information for us at the elementary school as well. I could see tonight coming in here, it was nice to see this orchestrated, how you have so many events happening on one campus. I was nervous that there was going to be about 5,000 people in here based on the parking outside, but you have a lot of good things happening on in your district. But it was nice to see that everyone knew the norms, how to move through the property, and how to find their spots. Again, a deeper dive into the elementary school is just starting to become clear to us of the building footprint and also how the spaces are used as well. And then you can see the data off to the right where we start capturing the square footage count per student, start to do comparisons on districts, other districts with schools similar in size to see how that works across different platforms. Moving to, and it looks like I'm going to need some assistance to move it. Thank you. Moving on to the middle school. Same thing, you can kind of see the cadence of the information. I won't keep going through things individually, but it just want to be very clear with you that we aren't just looking at one aspect, we're looking at all aspects of the buildings as we are moving through this process. If you could go to the next slide as well, that square foot comparison, student population, and then grade offerings, and then you can see that square footage per student at the middle school level. Now, your high school footprint is changing by the day, so you can see that this is an older Google image, and we know that you are making some significant adjustments to your high school. So we've been working with Dr. Briggs and Dr. Balmer to make sure that we're getting information about that work to make sure it's correlated with the information that we're gathering at the high school as well. And then you can see the footprint, obviously, as we start to understand how the building is used, how it's planned to be used when the construction is complete. And then we aren't stopping at just the learning environments, based on the recent investments into the office buildings on the edge of the campus. We've done some preliminary review of this, the buildings and what they're able to offer in their current state to be able to create some options for you as we work through feasibility in the future. You can see we're capturing the east building, the west building, and starting to see the existing footprints and what some potential offerings could happen in those spaces. And now, before we move on to this next, Jim's going to walk us through our preliminary observations and assessments of the systems of the building, and then also some architectural findings in each of the buildings as well. But want to make it very clear, I promised our architects that review the buildings and engineers that we would echo this. The way you manage your facilities, from cleanliness to care, is top notch. So I want your facility team to know that it is noticed by us walking through. You can tell when a building is cared for and when it is not cared for. And it's clear to us that your facility team, and that starts with the facility team to the staff, and that passes down to the students. You can tell that the community cares about their spaces. And then also recognizing the investments that you have done with the money that's been allowed to you through being good stewards of that money to invest it into areas of each building for upkeep. So wanted to commend you, and to our architects and engineers that are listening, I said it. Okay. I'm going to pass it on to Jim Thompson, who's going to lead us through the preliminary observations.
Thank you, Chris. Members of the school board and public, it's a pleasure to be here again. We really enjoy this process of working with you, and as Chris said, compliments to your facilities team and to your superintendent and Dr. Barmer and the leadership that you have in place. And I think that also stems from what we've learned about you as a school board and what you see as important in terms of protecting your assets that you have with roughly a 500,000 square feet under roof. That's an important oversight that you as a board and administrative team provide. And so that's something to be acknowledged and to be pleased with. How you care for your buildings is how you care for your children. So that culture is loud and clear. If we can, yes, I'm going to go. So let's go about the assessment overview. We will talk about this on more than one occasion. And when we move through the learning environments and then get back to feasibility study options, we'll want to revisit this and say, okay, if we're going to do X to this building, or we're going to do Y to a different building, what else might need to happen so that when we're done, you have made an investment that's wise, thoughtful, intentional, and cost effective. So this is just, think of it as, I mentioned scaffolding before, think of this as what we're looking at tonight is one piece of the scaffolding for the buildings. The other comment about what we've assessed, as Chris mentioned, is a very important next step to the assessments is to sit down with your facilities team and say, here is what we see, what do you experience? So that we can align the two, and because what we may observe might be different than what, in some aspects, what you're actually experiencing based on repair bills, trending reports, trouble things that are seasonal. Well, in the winter it's like this, but it doesn't seem to be a problem in the summer. Those kinds of things. And I would just tell you from the start, I don't think there's anything alarming. And I think from what we understand, it was pretty clear that you did need to make an investment at the high school, and you have, and you're well underway on that. How to read the information in condition evaluation. The clear box, think of that as meeting needs, good condition. You could say like new. So these are things that are in good shape. The black box would be things that, as you look at a matrix, when this is all assembled, are going to catch your attention. They might be below standards. They might be beyond service life. So let's clarify that even though something is beyond standards or below standards, that is normal. In Indiana, as in any state, you have building codes 10 years ago that are different now. So if you built a building 10 years ago, and the other thing we know is with LED lighting, temperature controls, certain technologies, it's a fast-moving train. So yes, you might have things that are below standards just because building technologies have changed in 10 years. The half box, think of those things that are just squarely in the middle. They're functioning, they're fine. Yeah, they may not be the current state of the art, but it's not necessary for it to be state of the art. It's still a perfectly functioning building. But it's a way to organize. And then Most of the conversation that we find comes from things that are in the middle with the half boxes in terms of what's that priority? Where would that rank with everything else we're trying to do? Black boxes, another thing that school boards say is, oh, now we see where all the surprises are. Like these are lurking surprises. It's very interesting. We'll go through some, not every building, but we'll point out a couple examples. This is another indicator when you have things that are beyond their service life, but they're still functioning. That's another kudos, another compliment to your facilities team, because when the state changes the way you fund or receive money to fund schools to maintain them, this is usually an area that is more quickly changed by the state and not offering as much funding. And you're kind of left on your own to do the best you can with whatever funds you do get. So that puts a lot of pressure on what we call preventative maintenance. So things do have to be extended beyond their normal industry life. So let's go to the first building and start talking about what we're looking at. So this is a snapshot of all your buildings. And the yellow, as I mentioned about the high school, that indicates areas that were reported to us as receiving updates. And again, you can see in summary, when you think about the site, you've invested in the site and items are looking very good, like essentially like new, or they have been recently updated and they are new. If we go to the next slide, you'll see with like the building interiors, and then that again, most of the buildings have been refreshed, and you can see at the high school, there are aspects of the high school that are going to be refreshed here with the newest project. One of the things that I wanted to point out, and I can use this slide or the previous one, it's the same. You'll see at your elementary school that some things are like new and have been updated and refreshed. But then in this building, when you get to the portion of the building that was older, whatever project occurred most recently, did leave behind, or there was an intentional discussion at that time, we weren't privy to it, that this part of the building will still be okay. But now when we're doing the assessment, you can see what we've noted as you might want to think about addressing that to level it up with the rest of the building. Chalkboards, for example, were still in some of the classrooms. There was some aspects of lighting, some finishes. But that is perfectly normal when a school board and a school district, and it wouldn't have even been the district as it's formed now, had to make decisions about what to do with making best use of an older part of the building, adding on a new part, and how do you blend the two together and make budgetary decisions? Because eventually the money runs out and you can't make it all new again. So that's a building and a discussion when we do feasibility studies and talk about the long-term destiny. That may be a place you might look to invest a portion of dollars. Okay, then if we go to the next slide, same type of observations. What you're looking at on this slide, you can see the headings where it says heating, ventilation, air conditioning, so that's HVAC. You can see plumbing systems, and there's two types. There's the domestic water for restrooms and kitchens and things, and then there's also the plumbing distribution, the top row, which is what circulates the hot and cold water for the mechanical systems. And you can see you're addressing things at the high school again. There might be one of the things that we're going to get into with your facility team, if you see where it says middle school and elementary school, it seemed like there's some trending going on with the water systems, that maybe the water coming into the building wants to be treated in a way that it can better be used. And also hot water as a domestic water, it's harder on the systems, it's harder on the water heaters. It's just one of those things, and it seems to be happening more with the two buildings here on this campus than it would be with the other buildings. Sorry about that. That's me. That's my time to not take too much of your time. So let's keep going. And I just want to make one other point then. So let's go to the next slide. We did the same thing with the electrical systems. And so then this is another piece of useful information we've brought to you tonight. And I'll orient you to this building, and we can just kind of scroll through the rest with Todd's help. But what you see here is a closer look at the systems: heating, plumbing, electrical. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. The first column you can see is the same condition we reported to you on the summary. And you can see at the primary school, things are still pretty much like new. You've taken such good care of it. It appears to us it's like new. You can see the years that they've been in service. We'll check. I don't think there's anything that's yet having been replaced. And then in the right-hand column, school boards appreciate seeing the life expectancy. So as you're looking ahead and trying to leave behind your buildings for the next school board and the next school board after that, this gives you a way to have some future forward thinking. The other thing I want to use this slide to make a point: buildings are living, breathing entities. In some ways, they're just like the human body. They breathe, air goes in and out. It can be supplemented mechanically, but if you just left a building alone, air would still move in and out. It has water that has to get shed off of it from the roofs. It has cold trying to get in. It has heat trying to escape. It's a living, breathing organism. And when all these parts are moving, it's no different than the veins and arteries in your body. So there's systems going on. It's a constant living, breathing entity. And it just sometimes helps to think of it that way. So we may think of it more static, like, oh, that paint in the wall is going to be there forever. But there's so many things in a building that are not static. So again, life expectancy helps you start to see, hey, in about another 10 years, some things are going to start to wear out. Do we want to wait and replace it all at the same time? Or do we want to start a process where we replace certain systems in certain years, looking ahead? So Todd, if we just kind of go through, and you can see we did this for every building, inventoried what you have in their life expectancies. Some people prefer just to read a Reader's Digest bullet point list. So we provided you some observations in that regard as well. And you can read those at your leisure, as you may already know some of the things. And you may have, keep in mind, this is like a partial list, and you may have some other things, or we may have some other things we find when we talk to your facility team. So some high points. So just a couple more minutes as we get to the end and we keep scrolling through. You can see every school has been inventoried, and we'll have a conversation with the facility staff and make sure we're seeing things the same way they are. And again, we yellowed what you're replacing at the high school. Chris, you want to talk about the last step, or the next step, excuse me.
Jim talked about buildings being a living, breathing thing, and I hear that commonly in our office with architects and engineers. And they love assessing the buildings and learning about every integral part of it and how it works and what it needs to work and function better. I personally have never had a good conversation with a chiller. So I'm excited about the next stage of the study, and it's the learning environment input. So if we can go down, I want to explain what we're going to do. So it's going to happen in multiple waves. Our goal is to assess and get learning environment input. So an opportunity to have a survey and maximize participation from staff across the district so that we separate it by school. From that, we're going to be able to collect data, from the people that are living in those buildings, that are parking in certain spots every day, that carry the students through the hallway, use the restrooms, all those different facets of the building. We want to know how it works for them. And then from that, I'm going to have an opportunity to sit down with each building principal to review that data, but also get their perspective too from how they're living in each space and how they see it behave, and also find some areas that might be some barriers to them. Along that, we're going to be able to connect the student capacity, so to be able to see how each building is used, cross that with trend data for your enrollment, to be able to give you a projection of how the buildings are used, what available space would be in the future if you were to grow, and then bring that to the board so that you have that information as well. This is just an example of how the survey works for the staff. And again, our intention is to get information from all of the staff, but it basically lists the question and then they're able to put an answer in each of the categories. And then there's an open section. So if there's some explanation, we're able to pull that too to get a little bit more context to why they feel a certain way about a certain item. And then moving into the next slide, just show you how it's going to be data that's going to be brought forward. So the data tells us one way is, an investment in lights, recently at the elementary school, that may come out really, really high as something that's very positive about the lighting in the classroom. That data will tell us that. And then also on the other end, if there's something that's just been a thorn in their side for years, collectively as a group, you'll see that come across as data as well for us to work through. And then next steps for us prior to our next meeting, as Jim alluded to, we're going to continue site visits for further assessment and understanding of each school. We're also going to further review the recently acquired office buildings to make sure that you know what you have and what options you would have with those buildings. Data collection and review of operational costs, which we think is going to be very important information in this process. And then finally, sit down with your facilities and maintenance team to review our preliminary findings and then cross it with the people that have been maintaining those systems that we're talking about. That is it.
So are you gonna go into depth more on like the HVAC, the geothermals, the years of life expectancies? Because we've actually replaced a lot of rooftop units here. I know a lot of the lighting now. I know we haven't changed out all the 2x2s, but I mean all the 2x4 tropers have all been changed out to LED. So really, I think diving into each building is gonna be, you just can put a half box and it's not. Right. And but also at the same time, like most of the HVAC might be 22 years. That's not the case when, so we're just trying to figure out how that's going to look as we go on and actually get a good survey there. So,
and that's part of our conversation with your facility team. Again, Dr. Balmer and Dr. Briggs have been fantastic about giving us time each week to capture their time to review information with them. But part of this first look is we didn't want to have preconceived notions with our staff going into a building. So we didn't want to have pre-conversations. We wanted to get a fresh look from them. Now cross it with your facility team to do that deeper dive.
have you had a chance to look at our renovations we've done, like in 2018, the other renovations of projects? Okay.
So part of the different renovations that you've done, we've been able to get the as-built from those as well to be able to cross the new work that happened during that time when you did the addition. So knowing what items were upgraded at that time too.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also know what items, consciously that couldn't fit into the project at that time. This building being a primary example of areas that you did not address at that time to make sure that that comes to a surface, because you're right, a half box for a building that's had 4 addition doesn't really tell the full story.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't really have a lot of questions because I know I'm going to be full of questions as you dive deeper. I kind of take this as this is a general overview to get us started, and we're going to dive into a whole lot of details as this progresses. But I want to thank you for coming down, providing all the input about the plan, and look forward to a lot further detail in the future.
Yes. Perfect.
Joe, any questions?
I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate you guys.
And just a reminder to everyone listening, this presentation is on our corporation website, so you can access it anytime.
And I guess it's good to say for anybody that might be tuning in for the first time, Gibraltar is a company that we are consulting with to do a feasibility study of all of our facilities and all of our properties, taking into account all of the data that we have about students, projected growth, making sure that our facilities are up to date, long-term vision, and what we're doing is just not band-aiding for the short term. So, all right, next up, we want to pass along the condolences to one of our bus drivers, Freddie Eckert. His mom, Patty, passed away last month, and Patty was a 20-plus year school bus driver for the Old West Clark Community Schools. So our sincerest condolences on Patty's passing. You have any community input? Next up, Dr. Balmer, financial and operations update.
Yes, good evening. We'll begin with our monthly financial report. Takes a quick dive into our 2 main funds that fund our school system, which is our education and operation fund. So beginning with education, budget year 24, we began with a beginning balance of $5,133,791.11. revenue through February of 24, $4,062,794.79. Expenditures through February, $3,960,596.67, with an ending balance in our education fund of $5,235,989.23. We did see revenue start to exceed expenditures, but that'll be up and down as we have some fluctuations in payouts for employees, depending on different months, and also for one-time payments such as Prosser and things like that. So, but for the most part, on the employees, when the raises went into effect, that's kind of when you saw the biggest bump, and that was in January for our classified staff. As far as percent spent, 15.8% spent through February. A max percent would be 16.7. We do plan to stay underspent because what's different than normally, usually we're running a little over because previously we didn't add cushion for an additional for ADM growth. But this year we did put in a little additional appropriation. So if we did the ADM growth in the fall, we'd have the authority to go ahead and spend without having to file for an additional appropriation. So we'll play that by ear. On our operation fund, beginning balance in 24, $3,538,444.73. Revenue through February, $716,750.28. Expenditures through February, $1,197,998.90. With an ending balance in operation fund in February of $3,057,198.11. It's very normal for school districts to see expenditures exceed revenue in this fund as you move through your months, but in June and December, that's when your main revenue source comes in for your property taxes. The main source right now is your education to operation transfer, and we do depend on that to fund the difference between what property taxes are collected and our actual expenditures, so that helps fund that. The percent spent there, 14.4%, and again, a max percent of 16.7%. And we'll try to continue to stay under that appropriation and hopefully have some additional, a little bit of leftover revenue that we can make a transfer to our rainy day fund that we need to continue to build that up, just to save for a rainy day. Moving on, a couple of additional updates on finance and operation. SBOA has been with us auditing it. It's been a good learning experience. As always, when they come and look at your accounts, there's things to tweak, but overall, I feel like it was a successful audit and something we'll learn from and continue to grow when it comes to our internal processes with finances. We do have our auction going right now on Beckert. So if you're interested in some buses or a lot of technology or other facility equipment, it ends March 21st. Encourage you to get on there and bid on that. Quite a few great items on there. Definitely thanks to Ms. Cahiffer for all her work on organizing that. Our food service team under the leadership of Mr. Sinclair is making a transition from disposable trays to reusable trays. That is, believe it or not, a little bit of an undertaking. It requires some logistics to work that all out, but this decision is cost savings, but also as we look to be environmental friendly, this is something that eliminates a little bit of that carbon footprint and to get away from that waste on those disposable trays. So kudos for him for kind of making that decision and moving forward with that. On the human resources side, Ms. Miller and her team are in the implementation phase of leveraging our new onboarding system for Frontline. With Frontline, there's been a ton of work on gathering and inputting information. Definitely want to shout out to Ms. Wyatt for our help with getting that information together. It's a ton of work up front, but it'll be worth it in the end. The onboarding system is going to allow us to have a one-stop shop for all new hire paperwork, and we'll eventually be able to replace physical employee files. Once the onboarding phase is complete, we're going to move to the recruit and hire phase, and the goal is to set this up and have it running in April, in order to utilize that for spring hiring. And the final phase is time and attendance, and will not be completed until May or June. And we'll be using a testing group that will form over the summer to roll out by the time our next school year begins. The next time and attendance piece will allow us for staff to do time off requests to the system, and will then follow a flow for supervisors' approvals and tracking. These systems will immensely benefit the district in improving efficiencies and decreasing our overall paper utilization. We're excited about modernizing some of our people technology. On the construction side, again, the main high school addition's about 3 months ahead. We still do plan on transitioning students over after the fall break of 24. Again, it's contingent upon a few important key items showing up on long lead items, but right now all indications point to a transition in 24. after fall break of 24. Currently, they're working on a lot of mechanical rough ends. They're demoing the girls' locker room and the main gym, finishing air barrier membranes, drywalling, and they're even beginning to paint in some areas. So a lot of exciting work going in that area. On the auditorium side, it's still set to open at the beginning of January of 25, early 2025. They're still kind of working to that. And right now, as you can tell, there is a ton of masonry work going on, and they are starting to plumb in some things on mechanical rough ends as well. And on the athletic side, they're putting the final touches on that restroom and concession facility out there that's going to serve baseball and softball, and we expect that online very soon. Any questions for me?
Not for me. Thank you. Dr. Briggs, the consent agenda.
Yes, number 8, consent agenda. We have letter A, finances, numbers 1 through 4. Under letter B, personnel, 1, certified resignations, letter A. Under number 2, leaves, letters A and B. Under number 2, classified, number 1, appointments, letters A through H. Number 2, resignations, letters A and B. Number 3, leaves, letter A. And under letter C, other, we have Roman numerals, numbers 1 through 10. And that is it for consent agenda.
All right, hearing the consent agenda, do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Basham seconds. Any discussion needed? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We have struck the one discussion action item under number 9, so we'll go to our building reports. Ms. Cable?
Yes, thank you, Alex, for the close-up. I appreciate that. Good evening, everyone. Few updates from Silver Creek Primary. So an exciting week for us is Read Across America Week. We celebrate reading and literacy, but we also celebrate Dr. Seuss and his birthday. So the week of February 26th through March 1st, we had a reading raffle that kids would read at home in the evenings and turn raffle tickets in. Our cafeteria cooked green eggs and ham on Friday, March 1st, as well as a yummy birthday treat to celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday. We participated in a book swap in our library, which was really neat because our kids bring a gently used book from home, and then we mix them around the grade level, and then they get to take a book home to keep. So there's lots of fun social skills and learning as well with that. And one of our very favorite pastimes at the primary during this time is our favorite character tournament. So students voted for 2 weeks each morning at announcements, and I'm excited, sort of, to share that Silver Creek Primary's favorite book character this year is the Cat in the Hat. Mr. Adams and I, that's not our favorite. So we've told Miss Davidson, our librarian, next year, Cat in the Hat's not an attorney. Last year, Pete the Cat won, and we were much bigger fans of that. So our kids love it. We do like a bracket outside, like an NCAA bracket outside the library, and they get so excited about which one of the characters wins each day. So it's really fun. Also, thanks to our awesome PTO, last Friday, we had Ion Jones and the Lost Castle of Chemistry, which was really fun. The Louisville Science Center came and presented twice for our friends. We had all kinds of fun, experiments for them, but loud noises, bright lights, those kinds of things that they loved. And so we really appreciate our PTO for that. And then last but not least, our letter D winners for dependability for pride. We're really excited for these friends. Letter D for dependability is hard to do in primary school. So congratulations to the following friends in kindergarten: Jackson Arnold, Weston Meredith, Nicole Sosa, Cam Grant, Renly Cunningham, Carter Duncan, Dylan French, Blake French, Ryan Dunn, Mia Kennedy, Tori Lankford, Malik Taylor, Frankie Davis, Bo Wilburn, Layla Eisenberg, Olivia Johnson, Ava Talbert, Dylan Bannett, Zaxton Mildner, Brianna Liang, Reese Yurton, Levi Gantenbein, and Damian Smith. And from our first grade, congratulations to these friends, letter D winners: Lila Kaiser, Oliver Mudd, Ava Hettinger, David Nolly, Addison Mullen, Ronan Coates, Charlie Davis, Evelyn Stevens, Harley Magnuson, Spencer Owsley, Audrey Pruitt, Alex Triplett, Jacqueline Mendiola Pasquale, Sawyer Fortner, Nora Burden, Camden Van Atta, Paisley Wilburn, Joelle Hernandez, Avery Browning, and Lucy Ortuno. So congratulations to those friends, and we just want to wish everyone a really safe, fun, restful spring break. We take on Q4 when we come back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Myers.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. I just wanted to share some really good news. Our robotics team, we have 4 teams that have performed. You can see their fields behind you. They've been working all year long. They've competed in 3 different competitions, and of our 4 teams, 2 of our teams have been asked to go and compete at state. Our 3rd team was 1 point away from making that state cut. So we're really excited about that. Congratulations to our Anklebots team and our Dreambots team for getting that invitation. They've done a great job with that. Currently, Silver Creek Elementary is right in the middle of iRead 3 testing. Most of our 3rd graders have completed the assessment now, except for some people that have been absent. Our 2nd graders are taking it this week, and we're working hard to build some intentional plans for all of our students who did not pass this spring, and will offer the retest near and in the summer. These plans will be communicated to families in the upcoming weeks, very soon. So SCE is having a family night this Thursday night. So we want to invite all of our families to come in from 5 to 7. It's a come and go as you please. We have different areas set up. One will be our book fair, which is here. It's the land of opportunity. We've got an adventure planned out for everybody for reading and math. We want to invite people to enjoy some gumbo in Louisiana's language in our lunchroom. And then our library is going to be hosting a book swap. So we for book swap in Seattle, and we want to bring a gently used or appropriate book that your child has had at home, and then we're going to swap it with another book for another family. Okay, and then also we'll have Hundreds West Virginia in our gym, where families can participate in Battleship and find other fun road trip friendly math games to take with you and to take home. So we're really excited about that. I want to give a special shout out to all the teachers that are volunteering and coming in that evening, giving up their evening to be able to bring this to our families, and a special shout out to Maria Jenkins, Andrea Anderson, and Candace Feldman for helping us organize and put this on. Also, I wanted to thank our counselor team and all the families who came out to our viewing of Screenagers. That was last week. It was very enlightening and informative for us. I participated myself as a parent, so it was really good. There was some great data that was given there, and some actionable things that you could take back and implement in your own family. If you were not able to make it, don't worry, because we're looking forward to sharing. We've got 2 other videos, Screenager videos, to be able to show at different events, and information will be shared about that soon, but it was very good. And then on Friday of this week, we'll be celebrating our students who have shown initiative for their Pride Awards. So we're going to be honoring those kids on Friday of this week. And lastly, I would like to thank Charlie Smith, our town manager. He came in and visited our 4th grade classrooms, shared some information with them, and did a science experiment with all of those kiddos. And the kids really enjoyed their time with him. So we want to thank him for coming out and sharing his expertise with us. All right. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Nunn.
Good evening from Silver Creek Middle School. I'd first like to start off by congratulating our Silver Creek Middle School choir. Our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade combined choirs scored 2 perfect scores over the weekend and 1 almost perfect, a 12 out of 15 in their ISMA performance at Highland Hills, and they earned a gold with distinction. So yeah, excellent work with them. We appreciate all the hard work they've put in this year. And just a note, that was the first time the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade sang together. And these are parts that coming in and out, so they've never never sang together before, put them all together, and they ended up with a gold with distinction. So incredible work for them. I'd like to list the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade members of the choir. 6th grade is Blaine Allen, Alex Bernero, Lily Bone, Autumn Brown, Macy Browning, Amelia Colburn, Dane Corick, Jalen De Leon Luna, Crosby Dixon, Elizabeth Eastis, Maya Ford, Hayden Garpetti, Ava Goodlett, Kinsley Jones, Caitlin Keach, Khaleesi Lewis, Isabella McLendon, Anna Lee Morgan, Jace Prettyman, Emma Prout, Sophie Rainey, Evelyn Rose, Bradley Roy, Bo Sexton, Haley Underhill, Elizabeth Wright, Mason Wright. For 7th grade, we have Savannah Ash, Amelia Ayers, Amy Brown, Rubia Castro Torres, Bailey Cook, Nevaeh Daniel, Jacob Dawkins, Marquez Dorsey, December Fetz, Silas Garpetti, Kylie Goodwin, Cecilia Gore, Maddie Hanner, Isabel Hicks, Kira Jewell, Cora Jocham, Mackenzie Johnson, Hunter Kelly, Gwendolyn Kidd, Kellen Lim, Adriana Lydia, Aomi Megalingit, Lydia Mitchell, Lindsay Mollyhorn, Michaela Mosser, Hudson Noah, Lainey Price, Juliet Rademacher, Lexi Rager, Bennett Reed, Addison Ridenauer, Piper Riggs, Isabella Russell, Eden Scott, Frank Stamper, Preston Taylor, Jenna Whalen, and our 8th grade members are Reagan Biggs, Braylon Brandenburg, Charmaine Colbert, Ezra Coy, Alexander DeMint, Mallory Drake, Serenity Eckert, Elizabeth Green, Ethan Hibden, Chloe Hyatt, Adeline Johnson, Zayden Kinnison, Chloe Crewer, Jaden Lang, Katie Love, Sydney Mayer, Mackenzie Miller, Cassandra Mitchell, Denise Munoz Sanchez, Clyde Ortiz, Abigail Reed, Josiah Reed, Braden Roberts, Kiefer Sprigler, Emma Stevens, Austin Trester, and Ava Wilson. So again, they are graded on how they come onto the risers, off the risers, and singing. Our winter percussion also competed at Floyd Central over the weekend and took 4th place. And our winter guard took 2nd place. They were behind 1st place by 8/100th of a point. So great job to all of those folks who went out and competed. We're getting ready for our Cincinnati field trip. It's an extended day field trip, so you'll see the motor coaches pulling up on Thursday. It's a great time, and I want to thank Mrs. Krininger. You saw her earlier with the cheerleaders. She did all of the planning, made all the connections for our trip, and I'm sure the 7th grade will have an incredible time spending the day together in Cincinnati. We have a welcome to 6th grade that we're sending out to our 5th graders. And so on April 18th, we will welcome our newest members of Silver Creek Middle School. And again, just be looking for information coming out for the times and what will happen during the evening. Thank the teachers and our staff for a great 3rd quarter of learning. And parents and families, please make sure that you're checking our daily announcements. And we've got many things that are listed on those daily. We have the 24-25 cheerleading tryouts coming up, yearbook, how to purchase a yearbook for this year, information about our English Learners Family Night with the date, time, and location, information about upcoming field trips. And again, all of our spring sporting events will start happening after spring break. So we're excited to share those. And again, we'll always link that information on our afternoon announcements. We wish everybody a happy and safe spring break. And we can't wait to come back and finish the year strong. Any questions for the middle school?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Woman?
Good evening from the high school. I think Dr. Balmer mentioned earlier about the construction going very well. A lot of developments going on. One of the more exciting things that's going on is the opening of new restrooms next to the cafeteria. I don't think I've ever been excited to walk into new restrooms in my life. The students are enjoying them too. Hopefully not too much, but we do have new restrooms there that are open. We do have some temporary partitions, but those will be changed at a later date. Once Upon a Mattress opened last week. So they fantastic performance there. A lot of strong voices. We continue on throughout next weekend there. So if you want tickets, they're available for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So catch that. Winter Guard and Winter Percussion are practicing a lot. They are climbing the rankings here. I think the Winter Guard finished 2nd out of 10 last weekend. Winter Percussion is close to getting to the next highest group there. STEM Robotics, we have that. They've been in on about every Saturday for the past couple of months to work on this new project that'll go into the competitions they enter in at Columbus is one, and then Lafayette Jeff is another. So that's exciting. Got to see that. There was a little hype video, I think, that Mr. Smith put out on the YouTube channel, or we have out. It's out there. Yes, Ms. Brown made that one, but it is out there. We just completed the SAT juniors, most all juniors. We do have a few makeups to do, so that was kind of a very tough thing to do. I know a lot of people are happy that we finished that, but we look forward to the results that we should find out in another 5 to 6 weeks, because we felt like that we worked really hard at it and we felt like they were prepared. Ella Haynes was in the competition for the Young Playwrights in Process competition there with her selection, or her play Letters from Abigail Glenn. She was only 1 out of 6 in the state of Indiana out of 120 entries to be a finalist there. So congratulations to Ella. And then, of course, we have spring practices underway right now, and then we have spring contests gonna occur. We have volleyball tonight, boys volleyball. Track is tomorrow at New Albany. Softball, I think they scrimmage tomorrow, and then baseball begins their defending of their state title next Wednesday when they scrimmage. I think that's at home. Another thing we're excited about when we return from break, we will fully implement this software called Enriching Students. The memorandum of understanding was signed a couple of board meetings ago. That is a scheduling software where we can better take advantage of our flex period. So it allows for much more flexibility for teachers to get students extra time in the classroom to sharpen skills in various things, as well as do some creative fun things. I think we're going to see a lot of teachers here be really innovative. For example, Mrs. Kramer thought of something the other day about with Read Across America of acting like a kindergartner. So they brought in the parachute and did all that stuff. So just some fun stuff along with some really necessary interventions. So it will affect every student in our building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Compton? Anything? Oh, sorry. I didn't see you stand up back there. Oh, go ahead if you're standing up. Always go alphabetical.
Good evening. I just have a couple of updates. First of all, from Health Services, Casey Drain would like to thank the Clark County Health Department for supplying our corporation with replacement Stop the Bleed kits. New kits were distributed to each school clinic, all nurses' emergency bags and AED cabinets. This donation provided a significant cost saving to the corporation, yet still enables us to be prepared in case of an emergency, and we hope everyone has a healthy and safe spring break. From our EL department, our next English Learner Information Night is scheduled for April 11th at Silver Creek High School from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. This event is specifically designed for our secondary EL students. However, we will have some activities for younger EL students. The event is presented through the collaborative efforts of Indiana University Southeast Diversifying Indiana's Teacher Workforce Grant and the New Neighbors Education Center. During this evening, we will delve into various essential topics, including diversifying Indiana's teacher workforce, advantages of being bilingual and IUS, college and career planning. We're delighted to announce a distinguished guest for that evening, Mr. Jay McTire, Registrar and DACA Specialist for Indiana University Southeast. Mr. McTire will share valuable insights and information on relevant topics, adding depth to those conversations. And lastly, as Ms. Myers had mentioned, last week on March the 5th, Silver Creek School Corporation invited our parents to Ivy Tech for a viewing of the award-winning documentary Screenagers. This viewing was made possible through the Digital Parent and Family Support Grant we were awarded from the IDOE. The viewing was followed by a question and answer session with our Silver Creek school counselors. The video explored struggles preteens and teens experience over social media, video games, academics, and internet addiction. Screenagers revealed how tech time impacts kids' development and offered solutions on how adults can empower children to best navigate the digital world and find balance. Parents were also given a copy of Parenting in the Screen Age as a resource to help them navigate conversations with their children and digital usage. I want to give a special thank you to Lacey Niehaus, Jacqueline Good, Jill Gerlach, Haley Kreininger, Amy Compton, Emily Losi, Casey Drain, Andrea Anderson, Elaine Kerber, and Adea Leiden for being there to answer questions and support our families. Thank you to the parents that took time out of their busy schedules to join us as we all navigate parenting in a digital age. I also want to send a big thank you to Ivy Tech for their partnership in providing the space to us to view that documentary. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Dr. Swing? Dr. Briggs?
Congratulations again to our state champion cheer team, and thanks to the kids and the parents for coming out this evening. Good luck to our robotics team as they compete at state for the Silver Creek Elementary, and congratulations to our choir team. And had a chance to see Once Upon a Mattress. Very impressive as always. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to see them, make sure you get out there this coming weekend, and hope everyone has a safe and relaxing spring break. That's it.
Thank you. Dr. Balmer?
Yeah, it's always amazing every month that it's like 25 more awesome things going on. And I think that we're just scratched the surface, all the wonderful things that are happening. But again, yeah, thanks to our cheerleaders for being here and just awesome accomplishments. Congratulations. Congratulations to our choir team on their success. Do want to thank our counselors. My wife and I attended Screenagers as we navigate 10-year-olds and what that should look like for screen time. So great advice. Maybe a little harder to apply, but it's wonderful advice. Want to thank Security Pros. We've been looking at looking into some vape detectors on a trial basis here on for our high school, or at least getting started. Something we're kind of been talking about implementing. And security, we've looked at several vendors, but Security Pros has offered us a trial basis, 45-day trial basis to try them out just to get used to them, see if we like them with no commitment. We want to thank them for that partnership to get to try those. Want to thank all of our companies who put in a proposal for our RFP for our lawn care. We had, I believe it was 12, and a big thanks to Kyle for all his hard work on that and his due diligence to select Raymond's. And we think we're going to have a great partnership with them. We're excited what they'll do here for our campus. And also, yeah, I did talk to Charlie Smith, and I know the kids have enjoyed him, but I think he's enjoyed being in those classes just as much. But what a wonderful partnership with our town. So thanks to him and all the cool gifts he got from the students. And again, congratulations to all our staff for making it to spring break. It's quite the climb, but we hope everybody has a very fun and safe and relaxing time.
Thank you. Mr. Basham?
I just wish that everybody stays safe during the spring break. Take your time wherever you're going because traffic will be a bear. Stay safe.
Mr. Groen?
Yeah, again, spring break, everybody be safe. Congrats to the choir team. Congrats, Ella Hayes. Thanks, Charlie Smith, for coming out. It's always nice to see the town being part of Silver Creek School Corporation. And also shout out to the cheer team. Again, as a father of a 6-time state champion, it's a blast. And if you ever went to the cheer competitions, you probably heard me yell really, really loud. I'm not afraid to lose my voice or stand up. So congratulations to them and the coaches there. You guys are well deserved.
Absolutely. Kind of echoing the same, Ella and our middle school choir, our robotics team, that's very impressive for a startup program. That's pretty amazing. And our cheer team, again, great fundamentals in a feeder program for the ultimate result. And one thing I did want to say, talk about all the good things, I did want to pass along condolences to, we have a couple of high school students, Bella and Ethan Caldwell, who suddenly lost their father, Josh, a week ago this past Sunday. Josh was a Silver Creek graduate and kind of a pillar of in some of our youth sports here, but they suddenly lost him last Sunday. And our condolences to Bella and Ethan and their family. As everybody said, to our students and our staff and our faculty members, just have a safe, fun, and a well-deserved spring break. Upcoming minutes, our upcoming meetings, we have all three of these upcoming meetings are here at Silver Creek Elementary School in our GPR starting at 6:30. April 9th, 23rd, and May 14th are regular scheduled board meetings. Again, that is here at the elementary school in the GPR. At this time, with nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Mr. Grove makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Basham seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We will adjourn this meeting at 7:34 PM.